Canthopexy, canthoplasty. There is pretty much no videos about this on YouTube, especially if you're having canthopexy. And I had canthopexy around 2 weeks ago, and I want to make this video going over the journey, going over why I made the choice, and I think it was worth it, and if it might suit you. So I just want to tell you guys what is the difference between canthopexy and plasty, because I see people use it interchangeably all the time. Even people on medical websites, even surgeons on Real Self seem to use them interchangeably, which that is a mistake because they're not the same thing altogether. So canthopexy is when a stitch is done inside the eye and it just lifts the tendon overall, basically. I will put an image, but it is less invasive than the canthoplasty, where the whole tendon is undone and remade again. Canthoplasty can have more chance of rounding the corner of the eye. So I had the canthopexy version, which is the less invasive one. Now, why did I choose to actually have it? Is because I have an odd eye shape. The canthal tilt was never really negative. It is because I have a lack of under eye support and the skin is not very strong, so I would have eye dryness and couldn't close my eye, and that is due again to the braces, which led to the whole saga of jaw surgery, which is like basically all my videos. So all this braces stuff that recessed my face kind of led to a lot of health problems, even with the eyes, where I would have a lot of dryness, which is why the canthopexy was kind of done and to better the looks of it. But I actually had multiple choices of things that I could do. The root problem is actually something called negative vector, where my eye bulges further than a bone. So it just lacks a lot of support, which makes it look like my eyelid is kind of drooping, and it's very odd on some angles where it looked positive, it looked negative, and people online, they'll call this puppy eyes or some odd TikTok woman name, but it's an anatomical problem. Sorry to break it to you. The real solution for this, according to Barry Ipley, which is a surgeon who does really with the bone and maxillofacial, it would be to get infraorbital implants. Infraorbital implants are kind of put under the eye. It's kind of a maxillofacial procedure, if you will. It's a pretty big procedure, which when I just got jaw surgery 7 months ago, I'm not really a big fan of. I would prefer not to do anything big like that yet. And I was like, I'll try smaller solutions. But Dr. Barry Epley warned me that if I get only canthopexy, it will not be enough and I'll probably be disappointed with the results. And I do believe him, but I still wanted to see what canthopexy by itself could do for me. So the other surgeon that I went to said canthopexy with either fat graft or filler, but I chose to do canthopexy only right now so that I could see what it looks like by itself and then come back when I've actually made my decision. And he said your case does not really warrant infraorbital implants. That was around 6,000 Canadian dollars with the taxes, so that is quite a lot, but it is a good rate because if you convert it to American dollars, American surgeon would charge you 5,000 American dollars for this, which is like 8,000 Canadian dollars. And now it's 2 weeks post-op, but it does take 2 to 6 months to settle. Especially since I also have some swelling from the jaw surgery that has not left yet. Okay, we will see the final result later on, but I'm not sure it'll change that much. When I got to the day to go to the surgery, it was like a day in, day out procedure. So it's not like jaw surgery where they put you to sleep and you have to stay over there during the night and stuff. It was just, they put me under and I was still conscious. I could see a bunch of colors and they gave me fentanyl or something. I was able to get out after. There was a reasonable amount of pain, I would say, but that's normal. Honestly, even jaw surgery, I thought it was normal. It wasn't like a crazy amount where I couldn't live or something. The first week really had a lot of swelling and there was colors around my eye. It really looked like somebody beat me up. It really peaked 3 to 4 days after and dissipated like after 8 days. But the reason why it might have not dissipated as quickly is because I went on like 3 different plane rides on the second week. I would say do not do that. If you have this, maybe take 2 weeks off fully. But I had to deal with this in the plane. It was a little bit odd. It was kind of painful, but it was not really that bad because I could put tape. I had a lot of problems getting into the borders because they said I didn't look like myself and things like that. So I would say definitely be careful if you're getting this before traveling. The machines didn't work for me in Europe. It is going fairly great right now. I am 2 weeks post-op. There has been a lot of progression, I feel. The scars are kind of starting to dissipate, but they're very visible and I don't scar so well. So I'm worried a little bit about how I will scar because I'm very pale. But it should be okay. You have to massage the scar a little bit. They gave me a lot of pills and things like that, but I didn't have many problems. So I feel like it was not that difficult to get through compared to jaw surgery especially. Every surgery is annoying, but I feel like people on Reddit, as always, they'll say it's basically the end of the world and the most difficult thing they've been through, but it's really not that bad. People act like if it's the same as giving birth. It's really not. And I got it with no bleph, so obviously the scar isn't the same as somebody who would get bleph with it. I had a lot of difficulty looking at information from people who would have gotten it without blepharoplasty. Online, there's no videos about somebody being like, I got only canthopexy. It's very difficult to find. But honestly, I would say it was worth it. There was a few risks, but not as many, and the recovery was better than if I had blepharoplasty with it. Now for the after and the differences that I've noticed, this is where I'm a little bit disappointed, and I knew that I would be, because I knew it wouldn't really address the main problem, which is actually just the vector of my face, right? I was told it's mild by some people. I was told it's pretty big by some other doctors. So obviously it is a different opinion, right? That means that because I did not fix the real problem, which is the bone under, it was not really addressed, right? So I still do have some kind of, I do have a weird appearance still. People will say it's BDD, but it's really not, because it's difficult to have eyes that work like this, that do not fully close because of the sagginess of the lower eyelid. It is a painful thing. It is painful to see that your bones have caused you this to your own self. So that's why the real solution would have been the implant, and it would have been better for me to take the implant, but I felt like I would try this. If you want to have a look at the scars too, they're a little bit oddly placed, and there's still puffiness in my upper eyelid, which I don't really like, because I feel like now the upper eyelids are huge, and there's sagginess over the eye, which kind of is blocking my positive new tilt from showing, I guess. So I do feel like it's not the best that it could have been, but it probably is the best it could have been, considering the other problem needs to be fixed somewhat later. As this is not really the final result. It takes 2 to 6 months, I think, to actually have the final result for this, and jaw surgery takes a year, and I'm not even a year in. I'm about 8 months in for this. Now it will be the time for me to choose if I want to get filler, fat, or implant, which I'm not really a fan of all three, because they all have big downside in every way. So for example, filler, it'll stay in your bloodstream forever, and I don't want to eventually get pillow face. Fat, it can create an embolism, and it can reabsorb in an odd way too. And the implant is 23,000 American dollars, and I don't want to pay that much for something like that, not knowing if it'll make me look like these guys that get huge face implants and just look like weird pillow face like male strippers. I don't really want to have this big bony face look that they have. If you already have under eye support, I would say maybe it's worth it to just change your canthal tilt like that, because it'll already look good on you. If you just have negatively tilted eye genetically or something, and you already have your under eye support, it's going to help you out. But me, if I look down, it'll still look a bit odd because I don't have the support here. Look at other solutions, really consult with multiple people, because I didn't consult with that many people. Not that many people do this. There were some surgeons who were like, oh, have blepharoplasty. I don't want blepharoplasty. I don't want the perpetually surprised look. I really didn't want to like some fox eye lift. I didn't want to really look like a Russian sharmuta. That's not really my goal here. I will do an update with that when it's fully 1 year after jaw surgery. It'll have been the amount of months, 6 months after this too. So I'll do like another checkup videos. I'm not gonna get anything done again for the next like 6 months. So obviously, if you're somebody who's getting canthopexy by itself, there's nothing online about it. There's really nothing. So I'll link some stuff about canthopexy for you to read as well. Now that I kind of look at it like after filming, it does look kind of better than I thought in the camera. But yeah, ask your questions in the comments. I'm really gonna make an update later, but it's just for other people that are getting this in the meantime to have somebody to ask questions for, because there's nothing online about this. So please feel welcome to write any comment.